You're about to spend $150 to $200 on the wrong piece of equipment. Ever wonder why the cheaper fix sometimes makes everything worse? Today, I'll explain the difference between range extenders and mesh Wi-Fi like you're 5 years old. By the end, you'll know exactly which one your home needs and which one is quietly throttling you right now. Here's the situation. You've got dead zones in your house, and your router just can't reach everywhere. The bedroom gets 2 bars, and the backyard gets nothing at all. Your router is doing its best from wherever it's living. Probably a corner of your living room. Probably behind something. So you go online and you see 2 options. A range extender for $50 or a mesh system for $150 to $200. The extender is cheaper, and the mesh sounds fancier, but you don't actually know what either one is doing. You pick one, plug it in, and hope for the best. And most people pick wrong. The reason they pick wrong is because they don't understand what the actual problem is, which means they buy a solution to a different problem than the one they have. Here's what you need to know to actually get this right. And it's simpler than you'd expect. Your router is like a single speaker in the middle of your house. Loud in the center, fades at the edges. It's basically useless through thick walls or a floor above it. A single concrete wall can cut your signal strength by as much as 50% before it even reaches the next room. So the obvious solution seems like add another speaker and point it toward the quiet rooms. Add a second one, boost the signal, and suddenly the whole house is covered. Problem solved. That's exactly what a range extender does. And it's easiest to think of it like a relay race. The first runner carries the signal as far as they can. Then they hand the baton to the second runner, who carries it the rest of the way. More coverage, cheaper price, and simple enough to set up in minutes. Except here's the part nobody tells you, and it's the part that actually matters. Every time that baton gets handed off, something gets lost. A range extender has to listen for your router's signal and rebroadcast it at the same time. Imagine trying to have a conversation while also repeating every word the other person says out loud, simultaneously. You'd lose about half the information. And that's almost exactly what's happening in your walls right now. In most real-world setups, a range extender cuts your usable speed roughly in half just by existing. If you're paying for a 300 megabit connection, you might be getting 150 or less in that extended zone. You extended the range, but you also throttled the performance at the same time. That's the part that doesn't make it onto the box. So now you're in the bedroom, technically connected, but your video call is stuttering and your music is buffering. You think the internet is broken. It's not broken. You just built a bottleneck and called it a solution. But wait, before you write off extenders completely, there's a version of this where they actually make sense. Understanding that is how you figure out which one you actually need. Here's the thing about mesh Wi-Fi. Instead of one speaker struggling to cover the whole house, mesh is more like a band. Multiple speakers, all playing the same song, all perfectly in sync. You walk from the kitchen to the bedroom, and your device doesn't even notice the transition. It just stays connected, handing off automatically to whichever node is closest to you. And here's the thing the spec sheet completely buries. Mesh systems use a dedicated channel just for talking to each other. Think of it as a private road between the nodes. Your phone never touches it, your laptop never touches it. It exists purely so the nodes can coordinate without slowing you down. Your devices get the main highway, and the nodes manage their own traffic separately. That's the engineering decision that makes the price difference make sense. The relay race problem mostly disappears. The nodes aren't tripping over each other. They're coordinating. Your speed stays consistent, whether you're 2 feet from the router or 2 rooms away from it. A device connected to a mesh node in the far corner of your house typically gets speeds far closer to what your plan actually promises than it ever would through an extender. That consistency is what you're actually paying for when you spend the extra $100. Not the hardware, the architecture. Now, here's the question that actually decides which one you need. It's this. Do you move around while you're using the internet? If you sit at a desk in one room, and that room just happens to be far from the router, a range extender might genuinely be fine. You're stationary. There's no handoff to fumble. You plug in, you boost the signal to that one spot, and you're done. $50, problem solved. But if you're walking around with a phone or a laptop, if you've got a smart TV in the bedroom and another in the living room, if you've got kids on tablets in different rooms, the extender is going to quietly make your life worse. Your device will grip the extender's weaker signal even after you've walked back toward the router. Your phone is stubborn like that. It stays connected to the last network it found even when a better one is right there. You end up slower in your own living room than you would have been without the extender at all. That's the counterintuitive part. Adding hardware to your network can actually degrade the experience for most devices on it. Think of it like this. Imagine your Maps app shows a shortcut across town, but that shortcut sends you down a road with a 10-mile-per-hour speed limit. You save distance, you lost time. You didn't optimize the route. You just added a bottleneck with extra step, and every other car that follows the same map makes the same mistake. The whole convoy slows down. A mesh system doesn't have that bottleneck. It's built for the way we actually use the internet. Not in one room, not on one device, but everywhere, on everything, all at once. The average household now has more than 15 connected devices. Mesh handles that load in a fundamentally different way than a router plus extender setup ever could. The honest answer for most households is simple. More than 4 devices, more than 1 floor, or more than about 1,500 square feet. The math favors mesh. Not because it's fancier, because it's the right architecture for the problem you actually have. But here's the part that will save you money, regardless of which direction you go. Most people buying either product haven't done the one thing that would have solved the problem for free. Your router placement matters more than almost any hardware upgrade. A router stuffed behind a TV stand, sitting on the floor, wedged next to a microwave. That router is fighting physics before it even gets started. Move it to a central, elevated spot. In a single-story home, that means somewhere near the middle of the house. Ideally on a table or shelf, not the floor. In a 2-story home, the second floor is almost always better than the first. Signals radiate outward and downward more effectively than upward. Get it away from competing electronics. Microwaves, baby monitors, and cordless phones all broadcast on similar frequencies and chew into your signal. For a lot of houses, that one repositioning closes 70% of the dead zones without spending $1. Don't buy anything until you've done that first. And if you still have dead zones after that, if there's a specific spot that won't cooperate and you're not a multi-device household moving around all day, the extender is not a stupid purchase. It's a precise one. You're treating a specific symptom, not redesigning the system. If the dead zones are everywhere, if the problem is whole floors or an entire wing of the house, if you've got the moving around all day situation, that's mesh territory. That's what it was built for. So you walked in with 2 options and no framework. Now you have the framework. The question was never which one is better. It was always which one matches the actual shape of my problem. One of them does. The other one costs you $200 and makes you blame your internet provider for something you accidentally built yourself. Here's what I want to know. Did you already buy one before watching this? Drop it in the comments. And if it made things worse, I especially want to hear that story. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe and make sure to leave a comment on what topic you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.